This one is way back, gonna go! Walk-off home run, Fernando Tatis Jr. A two-run shot against Kenley Jansen. And tonight it's the Padres who come from behind and beat the Angels 6-4.
A back-and-forth battle, and Fernando Tatis Jr. had the final say. A walk-off two-run home run in the bottom half of the ninth inning as the Padres beat the Angels here at Petco Park by a final score of 6-4. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. Welcome into the Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show. Hey, player, the Jamul Casino Resort is your place with the Lux Hotel Tower opening soon, new dining, and a long list of amazing amenities. You'll have more ways to play and enjoy all the perks of your casino fun. Jamul Casino Resort, the player's place. What a job by the Padres in this game to battle back, trailing 4-2, heading to the bottom half of the eighth inning. Padres find a way to score 2 runs in the bottom half of the eighth. The bullpen does a good job keeping it a 4-4 game in the top of the ninth inning. And then in the bottom half of the ninth inning, Elias Diaz drawing a leadoff walk against Kenley Jansen. And then Fernando Tatis Jr. hitting a 2-run walk-off home run to win it by a final score of 6-4 in front of nearly 44,000 in the building here in downtown San Diego. I talked with Fernando about the big swing right after tonight's win.
Here we go, come down in 3, 2, and 1. Fernando, you're facing a really good reliever in that spot in Kenley Jansen. How were you able to get such a good swing on that pitch?
Man, just a tough at bat. It's been one of the best of all times, and a lot of respect to that guy. So just a tough at bat out there competing against one of the best, and I got lucky this time.
Fernando, you always seem to rise to the moment in those kinds of situations. What allows you to do that?
Oh man, it's part of the game. I love it. I enjoy it, man. It's what we're here for those moments, and I definitely love them.
There was a while tonight where it was frustrating offensively, not capitalizing on opportunities. How was the offense able to battle back and score enough to get it to the ninth inning tie?
I bat. One at bat against next at bat, man. This group is tough. We're going to put our best version out there every single day, and we're just going to find a way how to ball.
Another sold-out crowd on a chilly Tuesday night. What's it feel like to make this crowd rock the way you did?
It's amazing. Man, it's great. That's what we play for, and I'm enjoying every single moment of it.
Fernando, great job. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
That was Fernando Tatis Jr. right after his walk-off swing. Second straight game, Fernando hits a home run, and we wondered in the pregame if we were starting to see Fernando Tatis Jr. get hot once again. Well, early on in this game, didn't have a base hit, did have a couple of walks, but he has the final swing, a 2-run walk-off home run in the bottom half of the ninth inning as the Padres improved to 26-15. The Angels dropped to 17-24. A lot to do on our post-game coverage. When we come back, we have all the radio highlights for you. This was a really good ball game here tonight. Back and forth, the Padres had some struggles in a couple of departments in the early and middle portion of this game, but they do a great job battling back to win it. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Much more to do as the Padres walk it off. Fernando Tatis Jr., the hero, on the Padres radio network.
Tony Gwynn Jr. here. Upgrade.
Padres win it in walk-off fashion on this Tuesday night. Fernando Tatis Jr., a two-run walk-off home run to win it as the Padres even up this three-game series at a game apiece, setting up the rubber game of this three-game set tomorrow night. Here at Petco Park, Sam Levitt back with you on our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show here on the Padres Radio Network. A lot to do as we break down what was a really entertaining ball game, really back-and-forth game here tonight. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt coming up in a little while. We'll also have our full out-of-town scoreboard. We'll also give out our daily awards. Get to your phone calls, 833-288-0973. All that coming up in just a little while. But first, let's recap this one from the first pitch to the final swing.
Which moments determine the outcome of today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our game highlights on the Padres Radio Network.
Dylan Cease took the mound for the Padres in the top of the first inning. The Angels, Zach Neto, led off.
2. This pitch is skied to deep left field. Hayward is back. He is at the wall. He leaps up, and he can't make the catch. It's a home run. So last year, it was Shawnawell hitting a leadoff homer against Cease. This year, it is Neto, and the Angels take a 1-0 lead.
Second home run in as many days for Neto and a quick lead for the Halos. Cease set down the next 3 in a row. He really would settle in this game. A 1-2-3 second, the same in the third. He worked around 2 singles in a scoreless fourth inning. He struck out his 8th and 9th batters of the evening in a 1-2-3 top of the 5th. The problem was the Padres weren't doing much of anything against Angel starter Jose Soriano early on. In his first 4 innings, Soriano had only allowed a single and a walk. The Padres trailed 1-0 going bottom 5. Soriano issued a leadoff walk to Xander Bogaerts, and then Jake Cronenworth hit a single into right. Angels right fielder Joe Adell bobbled it. That allowed Bogaerts to go to third. So the Padres had runners on first and third with nobody out. Jason Hayward at the plate.
Runners take their leads. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Hayward check swing on a ball down, squirts away from O'Hoppe. Throw down to second base, goes into center field. Cronenworth was at second. He's on his way to third, and Xander will score to tie the game.
So Padres getting fortunate, the error leading to a run. Hayward struck out. Jake Cronenworth was on third base with 1 out for Martin Maldonado, and that's when the Padres played some small ball.
1-1, he squares again, bunts towards third. It's a beauty, fielded by Moncada. The only play is to first. He throws Maldonado out, a squeeze bunt, and the Padres lead it 2-1. They're ahead for the first time tonight.
So the Padres scoring 2 runs in the 5th inning with the benefit of just 1 single, 2 critical errors on the Angels in that frame. Cease got in trouble in the top of the 6th. He gave up a couple of 1-out singles, but he bounced back to get a big double play ball from Jorge Soler. That got Cease out of the inning. Cease went back out for the top of the 7th. He got 2 quick outs, but then walked Luis Rengifo. Cease was over 100 pitches, so his night was done after 6 2/3 innings. Jeremiah Estrada came in to face Joe Adell.
First pitch swinging, Adell sends one to the gap in left center field. Rengifo's on his horse heading to third. Merrill picks it up on the warning track, sends it into Bogaerts. His relay to the plate is not in time. Bang, bang at the dish, but Rengifo slid head first. I think Maldonado tagged him on the shoe, and as close as it can get, but Joe Adell has tied the game 2-2 here in the 7th inning.
So like Jesse said, we were tied at 2. Angels manager Ron Washington pinch hit in the number 9 spot with rookie Matthew Lugo.
First pitch to him is swung on, hit in the air, deep to left field. Hayward is back of the wall. He turns to watch. It's going to go. Pinch hit, home run for Lugo. His second major league home run, both in the pinch. This one a 2-run shot, and all of a sudden it's 4-2 Angels.
Kind of a stunning turnaround. 2 pitches into Jeremiah Estrada's outing. The Angels had a 4-2 lead just like that. Jose Soriano pitched into the 7th for the Angels. He gave up a single and a walk in the 7th, but he struck out pinch hitter Elias Diaz to end the inning. That kept the Angels ahead 4-2. Yuki Matsui pitched the scoreless top of the 8th inning to keep it a 2-run game. That ended up being important because Fernando Tatis Jr. led off the bottom of the 8th with a walk against Angels reliever Ryan Zefferjohn. Manny Machado drew a 1-out walk to put the tying runs on base. Zefferjohn struck out Jackson Merrill on 3 pitches for out number 2. The rally was left up to Gavin Sheets.
1-1 pitch, popped into shallow left center field. Long run, Ward coming in, drops in front of him. Tatis has scored. Manny will be held as the throw comes in, and a one-run game as Gavin Sheets muscled one the other way and dumped it in between Ward and Neto.
As Jesse said, Manny held at third base. He represented the tying run. There were runners on first and third. Xander Bogaerts at the dish.
Here's the pitch. Xander takes in the dirt, kicks away from Ohapi. Machado on his way, the throw and the tag, and he lost the ball. Machado scores, and the game is tied.
Manny Machado scoring on a wild pitch. We were tied at 4. Xander Bogaerts would walk to put 2 on base. The Angels then went to righty Hector Neris. He walked Jake Cronenworth to load the bases. Neris struck out Jason Hayward to end the inning, and it kept the game tied at 4. So we went to the 9th inning, still tied at 4. Jason Adam came in. He put together a 1-2-3 frame. We went bottom 9. Veteran reliever Kenley Jansen came in. Longtime Dodger Kenley Jansen came in for the Angels. He walked Elias Diaz to begin the inning. That put the winning run on base. It was Jansen against Fernando Tatis Jr.
And Fernando swings, hits it in the air, high and deep to left center field. This one is way back, gonna go! Walk-off home run, Fernando Tatis Jr. A 2-run shot against Kenley Jansen. And tonight it's the Padres who come from behind and beat the Angels 6-4.
What a win, what a swing for Fernando Tatis Jr. A 2-run walk-off home run as Fernando hits his 11th home run of the season, his second in as many nights, and the Padres come back with 2 runs in the 8th inning to tie it, 2 runs in the 9th inning to win it, and they beat the Angels 6-4. Padres improved to 26-15 with the win. Angels dropped to 17-24. Final totals here tonight for the Padres: 6 runs, 6 hits, no errors, and for the Angels, 4 runs, 8 hits, and 2 errors. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Plus, we have a lot more to do. We may have some additional post-game reaction from inside the Padres clubhouse. Get to your phone calls coming up a little bit later as well. Full look at the out-of-town scoreboard as Fernando walks off the Angels on this Tuesday night in downtown San Diego. Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show continues after these words.
You're listening.
Welcome back to the Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show, brought to you by the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players' Place. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we continue to wrap this one up. Padres win it on a walk-off 2-run home run from El Nino. Fernando Tatis Jr., his 11th home run of the season, a no-doubter off Kenley Jansen, and the Padres scored 2 in the 8th inning to tie it at 4. They scored 2 in the 9th inning to take a 6-4, or I should say win the game 6-4 on the Tatis walk-off home run. Certainly a lot of other elements to discuss from this ball game. Dylan Cease, 6 2/3 innings, 2 earned runs given up, 5 hits. He was very solid in this game here tonight. Cease coming out in the 7th inning after he gave up a 2-out walk to Luis Rengifo. Ended up being a pretty critical walk for Dylan Cease. But really, aside from that, gave up a leadoff home run to Zach Neto, and he was really, really good in this game. Second really solid outing for Dylan Cease, who seemingly is starting to find his groove here in 2025. The really nice outing in New York and a really nice outing against the Angels here tonight. Bullpen up and down. Jeremiah Estrada giving up the lead in the top of the 7th inning. 2 pitches. Joe Adell, RBI double to tie it, and then it was Matthew Lugo, the pinch hit 2-run home run to give the Angels a 4-2 lead. But the bullpen in other spots did well. Yuki Matsui, a scoreless 8th inning. Jason Adam, a scoreless 9th inning. Those were big scoreless innings in what was a 2-run deficit and then a tie game, and that helped the Padres get it to the bottom half of the 9th inning, tied at 4, and gave Fernando an opportunity to win it with the home run. Let's go downstairs here at Petco Park and hear some post-game reaction.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt, served up by Sin Lee Food, where fresh meets flavor. Find farm fresh produce, bold Asian spices, and gourmet ingredients at 4665 El Cajon Boulevard. Sin Lee Food, the cook's Asian resource.
What can you say about the guy who hit the big hit at the end to win it for you?
I mean, I don't know how long you got, putting it all together, man. Special player. What a privilege to be with him. Have him as a Padre. A lot of stars on display tonight. He's finished it out. Other guys we'll get to, but yeah, Toddy's been, MVP caliber. I mean, it's right there every night. In simple terms, you think about when you get players on your team, like how do they beat the other team? And he literally beats you every way possible on a baseball field. He beats you with his physical ability on display tonight, his arm, obviously, his feet. But his baseball IQ is also completely off the charts. He's made some of the most intelligent, along with some of these other guys, baseball players you're going to see. So just a special talent.
For the big blast at the end, there were some moments on the base paths that got you to where you were at. If you could speak, Xander, Jake, Manny, which one of those impressed you there?
All of them. I mean, Xander's been fantastic. Does a lot of the little things that we got to reward, or at least I do, that we appreciate every day. Cronies read first and third, sets up that whole inning, put some pressure, that was fantastic. And then Manny, it's interesting about Manny because last year I appreciated his base running. And this year it's, if you look at the numbers, but I don't really need the numbers to tell me. And I've alluded to it a little bit during the course of the year. This guy is a very, very good base runner. And we look at our internal stuff and again, look at the eye test, and the guy that comes to mind, and this is completely high praise. And, listen, this guy did it for a long time. It was a Hall of Famer, but, he runs the bases similarly to Larry Walker. Now, that may not mean a lot of things to anybody, many people that, saw Larry Walker play or appreciated his greatness of base running, but people that knew what that looked like and how impressive a base runner he was, and that war helped him get in the Hall of Fame. I can start to put Manny in that category because Larry Walker was almost in his own category as a base runner. He's just that was a fantastic read, anticipation, timing, and courage.
These fans and Fernando obviously have a pretty special connection. For this to be the first walk-off home run of his career, he's had some other walk-off hits, but the first walk-off home run and kind of see the reaction and be at the center of it all tonight. Like, what was that moment like, you think?
Gosh, I couldn't imagine what that was like. I know it was like to see it and enjoy it and, you know, get to celebrate it, but what it was actually like to do it, God, that's got to be one of the most amazing feelings. The other thing about Toddy, it was surprising is, you know, it was his first walk-off hit last year when he came back early September, and he's had 2 more since then. And I just love the way he's slowing the game down in big moments. And not that he hadn't before. He's a, you know, great player, done great things, but, you know, even now he's just in a good spot where he just knows he can just let his ability play and knows he's got some guys behind him if they're going to tap dance around him. So it was just, he's just playing, you know, elite baseball.
What'd you think of Dylan?
Well, Dylan was fantastic. He was really, really good. Slider, back-to-back games of like the Dylan C slider. And Ruben were talking about during the game. Hard to say which one was better because he had a no-hitter, you know, going pretty deep in the New York game. But man, the slider was really good tonight as well. And, you know, unfortunately the 2-out walk, you know, led to some damage in the 7th, but, I thought Dylan was outstanding.
What did tonight do for any lingering concern after he exited his last start?
Say that again. I'm sorry, Dennis.
What did tonight's performance do for your confidence in Dylan after, you know, last week in New York?
Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely, it was more the confidence or the concern rather leading up to the start, you know, how he came out of last time out, and literally recovered immediately well. And the next day was good and the bullpen was good and the catch play was good. And so, and, you know, he's very in tune like a lot of these athletes are with their bodies. And he was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm fine. So, checked in on him, checked all his stuff and everything was really sharp.
Mike, what was your view on Jake's play in the 4th that prevented a run?
I'm glad you brought that up because it's on my notes. Yeah, it's huge play. Huge play. I mean, you know, we don't possibly get to where we got to without it. You know, so he gets over there, knocks it down, baseball play, saves a run. It was a big time baseball play. There's a lot of baseball plays on the field tonight. You know, we found solution tonight. You know, that was one of the winners found solution, just found a way to win a game, you know, dirt ball reads, keeping balls in the infield. It all matters.
Have you found over the years, because bullpen stretches are inevitable, basically the best bullpens have stretches. Have you found when they come out of it that they're as good as ever? Yeah, I mean, you know, listen, you know, you can say come out of it. I mean, Jeremiah's been fantastic. Had 4 days off, went, you know, inning plus. Morihone got him last night, 20 pitches, and really wanted to use him how he got used tonight, you know, be able to get out of an inning. And they just ambushed him, you know, bang, bang. They were ready to get off the swing because they know he's got filthy stuff. So, and they're able to connect. But, you know, so I do also want to make sure we applaud like Yuki's effort. I mean, he goes out and does a great job. And holds it right there. That's what we talk about, good bullpens, and good bullpen was on display. We're down, he holds it right there, and Jason has a really efficient, quick 9th for the win. So, you know, I do appreciate and understand that we're going to talk about when they give up a run or two, but, you know, we also had 2 really clean innings in big spots.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt after this 6-4 win for the Padres against the Angels as Fernando Tatis Jr. walks it off, a 2-run walk-off home run. And as Mike alluded to, his first walk-off home run ever in his career. And pretty hard to believe with all the heroics that Fernando has had in this ballpark in his career. But his first walk-off home run in his career here tonight. Pretty majestic, too. I finally watched the TV replay while Mike was talking there, and the bat drop and a stop and stare, and there was no doubt about it towards the bullpen area in left center field. He absolutely crushed it off a real good reliever in Kenley Jansen. Let's touch on a couple of things that Mike Shildt talked about there. I do want to just touch on the bullpen for a second because, look, at one point in this game, if the Padres don't rally back to tied in the 8th inning, I think there's no doubt that we're looking at this game and saying it was another game, unfortunately, where the bullpen faltered. And this time it really would have been Jeremiah Estrada that you looked at because he threw 2 pitches in the 7th inning. 3 runs came in on 2 pitches, and it went from a 2-1 Padres lead to a 4-2 deficit in the span of 2 pitches. And I was, you know, to be honest with you, getting ready to get into the numbers about the bullpen last 6 games or so, and you look at the numbers the last 6 games compared to the rest of the season, it's pretty crazy how many runs as of late they've given up. But I thought it was a good point there for Mike Shildt. There's always going to be attention on the bullpen when it's not doing well. But you look at this game tonight, yes, Estrada had a tough outing, throws 2 pitches, and 3 runs come in on 2 pitches. But like I said a little bit earlier, these scoreless innings from Matsui and Adam were really important. I mean, the Matsui scoreless 8th inning kept it a 2-run game, and the Adam scoreless 9th inning kept it tied and really set the stage for Fernando to hit the walk-off home run. So there can be multiple stories with one unit in a game, and that's sort of the way it was tonight with the bullpen. On one hand, it was kind of the same issues with, Estrada, not with him in particular, because he's been mostly great, but just with the bullpen in general. But then, to their credit, as a unit, they bounced back with a scoreless 8th and a scoreless 9th inning. So kind of a bit of a mixed story with the bullpen here tonight. You heard Mike Shildt point out a couple of quote-unquote baseball plays in this game, and there were 2 that really stood out. Let's start with the one that was mentioned towards the end there. That was that Jake Cronenworth diving stop in the 4th inning. And at the time, and it could get a little lost in this game, but at the time, I thought it was such an important play. To remind you, Nolan Shawnuel was on second base, 1 out. Jorge Soler hits a roller to the right side. Jake Cronenworth has to go way to his left and onto the outfield grass to go dive and grab it. Now, Soler was safe at first base with a single, but because Cronenworth didn't allow the ball to roll all the way into right field and to Fernando in right, that kept Shawnuel at third base, and then Cease ends up getting out of the inning. And at the time, I noted it as well, just like Mike Shildt, because I said to myself, that's a really important play, Cronenworth getting to it and not allowing that ball to roll into right field. Of course, a lot happened in this game after that, so it's something that could get a little bit lost in the flow of the game. The other really, really good baseball play, I thought, was Manny Machado racing for home on the wild pitch. That was not a wild pitch that got all that far away from Ohapi behind the plate. That was a very, very instinctive, high baseball IQ play for Manny Machado. We talked about it when Fernando scored on that wild pitch in Pittsburgh that bounced 4 or 5 feet away from home plate, just took off, high baseball IQ, understanding the moment, understanding the situation, and Manny there made a great, great play. And there was a play at home plate on it, and he beat the throw there. There was a bobble by Zephyr John, the reliever. They weren't going to get him anyway because he never held on to the baseball. But I just thought a very high IQ, instinctive moment there for Manny to take off the moment that ball got away. If he hesitates at all on that, if he waits a split second longer, I'm not sure that Manny scores. He might be out at home plate. So that was another big-time baseball play in this game. And then you talk about baseball plays. I mean, look, Fernando rises to the occasion in those kinds of moments. I'll be honest with you, and I'm not making this up. I was by the dugout in the bottom of the 9th inning after the Diaz walk, and I'm standing there thinking to myself, this kind of feels like Fernando's going to end this game. It just did. He has the ability to rise to the occasion in moments like that, and he does it again. And amazingly, for somebody who's so good in those spots and seems to have that flair for the dramatic, his first walk-off home run. All right, let's step aside. When we come back, we'll have some additional post-game reaction from inside the Padres clubhouse. We'll get to your phone calls coming up a little bit later, as well as the Padres win it 6-4, a 2-run walk-off home run from Fernando Tatis Jr. on the Padres Radio Network.
KWFN and KWFN HD1 San Diego.
Hey, this is Dylan Cease. You're listening to Padres Baseball on the Padres Radio Network.
And Odyssey.
Padres win it in walk-off fashion on this Tuesday night. The final score, Padres 6 and the Angels 4. Fernando Tatis Jr., his first career walk-off home run, a 2-run shot to left center field. The veteran reliever, Kenley Jansen, a guy that has faced the Padres for a long, long time as a member of the LA Dodgers, and Fernando gets to Kenley with a 2-run walk-off home run. By the way, the distance on that home run, 430 feet. 109 miles per hour off the bat. He absolutely crushed it, and he knew it. He did the stop and stare. He dropped the bat. It was all fired up, rounding the bases, and Fernando wins it as the Padres even up this 3-game series at a game apiece. We'll hear from Dylan Cease, tonight's starting pitcher, who was good in this game, coming up in just a moment, so stay tuned for that. We'll also have our catch of the game, full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, and we'll also welcome your phone calls at 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. First, let's tell you about tonight's relief pitcher of the game.
Which pitcher entered the game and slammed the door shut? This is today's relief pitcher of the game, presented by David P. Shapiro Criminal Defense Attorneys. When your freedom and future are on the line, you need the best arm in the pen. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com.
Could really go two ways with this. It's either got to be Yuki Matsui or Jason Adam. Matsui gave up a leadoff single in the 8th inning, got a fly-out double play ball to get out of the inning. Then it was Jason Adam, a 1-2-3 9th inning to keep the game tied at 4. So, if you want to really, get into batter by batter, I guess you could say that Matsui gave up a hit. Jason Adam didn't. But you know what? I'm giving it to Yuki Matsui here tonight for this reason. Yuki has been really, really good this season, and especially as of late. 17 appearances now, a 2 ERA in 18 innings. He struck out 21. Yuki Matsui has not allowed a run since April 23rd. So that's now a span of 7 consecutive scoreless appearances. He's been really, really good, Yuki Matsui, and he pitched a big scoreless top of the 8th inning that allowed the Padres to score 2 runs in the bottom half of the 8th to tie it at 4. And then again, Adam comes in the 9th inning, retires the side in order, and that sets up Fernando's heroics in the bottom of the 9th inning. But Yuki Matsui, our relief pitcher of the game, well-deserved today, and Yuki has been very, very good. His ERA is all the way down to 2. So a couple more good outings from Yuki. He'll have that ERA under 2. So nice job by Yuki Matsui here tonight in this 6-4 win. Dylan Cease, like we said earlier, very good tonight. 6 2/3 innings. The only blemishes for Cease, the leadoff home run to Neto. And then you really look at it, got in trouble in the 4th inning, got out of it, got in trouble in the 6th inning, got out of it, got the first 2 outs in the 7th inning. I would say that the second real blemish for him was the 2-out walk to Luis Rengifo in the 7th because, Cease came out of the game. He was at 103 pitches at that point. Padres go to Jeremiah Estrada, and on 2 pitches, Estrada gives up the double to Adele to tie the game and the 2-run home run to Lugo to give the Angels a 4-2 lead. If Dylan Cease just gets Rengifo there, doesn't walk him with 2 outs, that felt like a big no-no at the time when it happened. Maybe Dylan gets through 7 innings and is in line for a win. Obviously, the game probably goes just a lot differently the rest of the way, but could have been, a win today for Dylan Cease. But instead, gives up that 2-out walk, comes out of the game. 7th inning unravels a little bit, but again, final line solid. 6 2/3 innings, 2 earned runs given up. Let's go downstairs inside the clubhouse here at Petco Park and hear from tonight's starter, Dylan Cease.
How'd you feel like it went tonight?
It was solid. I gave us a chance to win. Wasn't would have liked to have been better in a couple of areas, but ultimately won, which is the name of the game.
You gave up the early home run and then, kind of found your way back into the game. What does it take, mentally to give up a home run that early and really lock back in?
Yeah, just staying focused on the task at hand. And, it's just giving up hits and home runs is a part of the game. But, just going out and getting the next guy, really.
When Tatis hits a home run like that, what's the celebration on your end?
Well, I was in the training room, so I didn't get to celebrate in the dugout with everyone. But, it's obviously exciting, very exciting.
The other TVs in the training room?
Oh, yeah.
Audio,
Oh, yeah.
Did you jump out and run out to be part of the celebration, or how did you enjoy this?
Oh, we enjoyed it in there. Yeah, I mean, it's electric, and anytime he's up, you almost expect it at this point,
The walk to end your outing, did you
Yeah.
kind of know that was going to be it for you there?
Yeah, it seemed like it, and just missed by a couple inches.
How did you feel physically coming in with the cramp and your bigger concern coming in?
I felt pretty good. I wouldn't say I was my peak by any means, but I mean, I felt pretty good, and I was able to throw 100 pitches without any issues. So definitely a lot of positives.
Did you come in thinking it wasn't an issue at all? Like you were
Yeah.
past it?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting there being any.
So you didn't feel anything in
No.
that area?
No.
The slider tonight was obviously very sharp. Like,
Yeah.
what made it? You went to it a lot. Like,
Yeah.
Was that a product of the game plan, or was that just the way
Yeah.
it was working?
Yeah, I think just the way it's working, I didn't have the best feel for my fastball, so they weren't seeing the slider well, and we kind of just rode it.
How do you feel tonight's kind of an extension of how you've been dialing in your last couple starts?
Yeah, I think it's a really good progression for sure. I've made some good mechanical adjustments, and I really feel like earlier in the year, if I only had really one pitch to rely on, it would have been tough for me to get through. But right now I'm in a good spot, and I'm able to get through 5 or 6 with basically just grinding. So it was definitely a good one.
Last night it was almost going to be the Jackson Merrill game, which you had that nice T-shirt on as well.
Yeah.
And tonight it was Tatis. Where's the delight to watch those two particular players and what they can do in the
Yeah, I mean they're both superstars. At any given game, they can take it over offensively or defensively, or on the base path. I mean, they're such dynamic players. We're very fortunate to have them, and they're superstars. Not much else to say about it.
That was Dylan Cease after today's game. Again, Dylan solid today, 6 2/3 innings, 2 earned runs given up. And you heard Dylan asked about the forearm cramp that he was dealing with in New York. And that was a little, I don't know if concern's the right word. Certainly for the Padres, they didn't voice any concern about it. But at least in my head, I wouldn't call it a concern, but just a question of if there was going to be any sort of issue or lingering effect, and certainly didn't seem that way at all for Dylan Cease. So that's very, very good news. He was good tonight. I think you could say maybe his second best start of the season behind what he did in that last outing in New York before he came out with the forearm cramp. So good stuff there from Dylan Cease, and he was in the training room celebrating when Fernando hit that walk-off home run as the Padres win it 6-4. Padres had some good defensive moments in this game. We talked about that 4th inning play by Cronenworth to save a run, help Cease through a scoreless 4th inning. But there was a big moment in the 6th inning with Dylan Cease on the mound. Let's hear tonight's catch of the game.
Which defensive play had the biggest impact on today's game?
He is at the wall, leaps up, and he makes the catch.
This is the catch of the game.
Gonna hang a star for Jackson Merrill.
Reeled in by Anthony's Fish Grotto La Mesa, celebrating 80 years of seafood excellence.
1-0. Soler swings, hits it sharply right to Bogarts at short. Goes to second one. Cronenworth's turn is in time, and a double play to end the inning. Dylan Cease gets through 6 and has struck out a season-high 10 batters.
Big double play ball in the 6th inning. Really, at the time, Padres leading 2-1. So it just felt like a really critical double play with the cleanup man, Jorge Soler, at the plate for the Angels. Well turned 6-4-3 double play and helped Dylan Cease through the 6th inning. Again, obviously, things would change in the 7th inning when the Angels scored 3 to take the 4-2 lead. So things would kind of get all over the place later in the game. But that was a big double play, and I thought at the moment, certainly our catch of tonight's game. All right, let's go to the phones. How about that? 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Phone number to call as the Padres win it 6-4 against the Angels. Fernando Tatis Jr., a walk-off 2-run blast to left center as the Padres improve to 26-15. We lead things off tonight. Let's go to Liana calling in. Liana, you're on the Padres Radio Network with Sam Levitt. How are you? Liana, you there? All right. Sorry, Liana. Oh, Liana, you there? Oh, thought we had Liana. Okay.
Hello?
Well, Liana, yes, you are live on the radio right now.
Hi. I'm Brian, and I'm calling because I was at the game, and Don catched a foul ball.
All right, cool. Well, glad you had somebody catch a foul ball, and appreciate the phone call. You saw a great win. Hope you had a fantastic time. So appreciate the phone call. And hey, I've never caught a foul ball, so I've always been a little jealous of the people out there catching foul balls. I've never got one. So anytime you can come to a ball game, catch a foul ball, and see a walk-off home run from Fernando Tatis Jr., I mean, that's a great night at the ballpark. That is worth the price of admission right there. All right, let's step aside. Phone number 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Phone number to call if you want to get involved. We'll have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard when we return, and we'll also get you ready for tomorrow's game, what becomes a rubber game of this 3-game series. Final score, Padres 6 and the Angels 4 on the Padres Radio Network.
Stay tuned to the Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show. Brought to you by the all-new Jamul Casino Resort.
Padres win it 6-4 in walk-off fashion on this Tuesday evening here in downtown San Diego. Sam Levitt with you on our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show here on the Padres Radio Network. Nearly 44,000 in the building here tonight. 17th sellout of 2025. Just incredible. A chilly Tuesday night, mid-May against the Angels, and 44,000 in the building, and they were treated to a really good back-and-forth battle and a walk-off home run for Fernando Tatis Jr., first of his career. So if you were here tonight, you got to see a pretty special ending with Fernando blasting one 430 feet into the bullpen area in left center, and the Padres win it 6-4 in dramatic fashion. If you want to get a phone call in, phone number is always 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. If you would rather get involved on social media, you can do that as always in a variety of different ways. You can find me on X at Sammy Lev, SAMMYLEV. Instagram DMs open as well. Sammy Lev there too. You can also comment on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube stream. Hello to all the YouTubers out there watching on YouTube right now. And if you want to find me on TikTok, if you're a TikToker, you know you can find me there. Sammy Levitt, SAMMYLEVITT. You can DM me there any of your post-game thoughts, and I may just read your thoughts live here on the air before we wrap things up here tonight. Exciting night of baseball around the major leagues. Let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
Everything has gone final across the major leagues today. Guardians beat the Brewers 2-0 in Cleveland earlier today. The White Sox beat the Reds 5-1 in 10 innings in Cincinnati. Miguel Vargas hit a home run in the top of the 10th inning in that one for the White Sox. Ellie De La Cruz had tied the game at the bottom of the 9th with a home run to make it 1-1, but the White Sox again scoring 4 runs in the top of the 10th to win it 5-1. Rays beat the Blue Jays 11-9 in Toronto. Junior Caminero hit a grand slam in that game for Tampa Bay. Mets beat the Pirates 2-1 in New York. The Mets broke a 1-1 tie on Brett Beatty's solo home run in the 7th inning. Braves beat the Nationals 5-2 in Atlanta earlier tonight. Great game tonight between the Tigers and the Red Sox. Bottom half of the 11th inning, the Tigers trailing 9-7. It was Javi Baez at the plate.
First pitch, swinging a fly ball left field, deep into the night, and gone! You gotta be kidding me! Javi Baez, walk-off 3-run home run, his second of the night. What a game!
Great call from the Tigers radio network. Javi Baez, a pair of 3-run home runs, including a walk-off home run in the bottom half of the 11th inning. Javi Baez has been a great story this season. He's hitting, he's playing center field and doing it well for the first time ever, and he wins it tonight for the Tigers. The Cubs beat the Marlins 5-4 in Chicago. Justin Turner, a walk-off double in that one for the Cubbies. Rangers beat the Rockies 4-1 in Texas. Josh Young hit a couple of home runs in that one for Texas. Astros beat the Royals 2-1 in Houston. Isaac Paredes, a walk-off home run in that one for the Astros. Man, a lot of walk-off wins tonight across the majors, including here at Petco Park. Mariners beat the Yankees 2-1 in walk-off fashion in Seattle. The Giants beat the Diamondbacks 10-6 in San Francisco, and the A's beat up on the Dodgers 11-1 in LA. Jacob Wilson hit 2 home runs in that game for the A's. We did have 2 postponements today. The Twins and the Orioles postponed due to rain in Baltimore. Same for the Cardinals and the Phillies. They will play a doubleheader in Philadelphia tomorrow and a doubleheader in Baltimore tomorrow. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Tuesday. A lot of walk-off wins across the major leagues here tonight, including here in San Diego. By the way, with the Padres winning and the Dodgers losing, I should mention the Padres did pick up a game on the Dodgers in the NL West, so the Padres will begin tomorrow a half game behind LA for first place in the NL West. And I know it's mid-May. Are we worrying about standings yet? Well, you know what? Sometime I'm going to tell you about them. Padres a half game behind the Dodgers for first place in the NL West. And right now, San Francisco 2.5 out behind LA. Again, final score here tonight, Padres 6 and the Angels 4. And Fernando Tatis Jr. had all the dramatics in the bottom half of the 9th inning. To recap that bottom of the 9th, it was Kenley Jansen, veteran reliever on the mound. He's been a great closer reliever for a long time. All those years with the LA Dodgers. Well, now Pitching for the Angels, he took the mound in the bottom half of the ninth inning in a 4-4 game after the Padres had scored 2 runs in the bottom half of the eighth to tie it. He issued a leadoff walk to Elias Diaz, and that set the stage for El Nino with our play of the game.
The line between winning and losing can be razor thin. Which play was the difference between victory and defeat? This is today's Play of the Game, presented by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
And Fernando swings, hits it in the air, high and deep to left center field. This one is way back, gonna go! Walk-off home run, Fernando Tatis Jr. A 2-run shot against Kenley Jansen. And tonight it's the Padres who come from behind and beat the Angels 6-4.
What a win, what a moment for Fernando Tatis Jr. The 2-run walk-off home run, no doubt about it. Tonight's play of the game here on the Padres Radio Network. As always, if you missed any portion of our post-game coverage, you can go back and listen to all of it on the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast, available on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcast. You can always go back and watch any portion of our post-game coverage on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel as well. Taking a look ahead to tomorrow, it'll be the rubber game of this 3-game series between the Padres and the Angels. Remember, the Padres have an off day on Thursday and back at it to wrap up this 6-game homestand with the start of a 3-game series on Friday against the Seattle Mariners, and also the start of the Vetter Cup. We'll have more on that on Friday, but an off day Thursday, 3-game series against the Mariners Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But first things first, Padres and the Angels tomorrow. It is not a day game tomorrow. I know you can get very used to that final game of a series, weekday matinee schedule, but it is not a day game tomorrow. First pitch tomorrow at 6:40 p.m. Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show will begin at 5:40. Right-hander Kyle Hendricks on the mound for the Angels, and right-hander Randy Vasquez on the mound for the Padres, with first pitch coming your way at 6:40 p.m. here at Petco Park. Taking a look at the final totals here tonight as Fernando Tatis Jr. walks it off with a 2-run home run in the bottom half of the 9th inning. For the Padres, 6 runs, 6 hits, no errors. They left on 7. For the Angels, 4 runs on 8 hits. They had 2 errors and left on 3. Winning pitcher tonight, Jason Adam, who improves to 4-0. Losing pitcher was Kenley Jansen, who drops to 0-2. Time of game, 2 hours and 35 minutes. And the crowd at Petco Park, the 17th sellout of 2025 already, 43,957. Once again, first pitch tomorrow night at 6:40. Our pregame coverage begins at 5:40. Until then, for our great studio coordinator, Jeff Hamby, I'm Sam Levitt saying so long and good night from Petco Park. And the final score here tonight, the San Diego Padres 6 and the Los Angeles Angels 4. We'll talk to you tomorrow night here on the Padres Radio Network. Have a great night, everybody.
Thanks for joining.